In the final chaotic days of World War II in Europe, a battle occurred that defies every conventional narrative of the conflict. It was a clash where American GIs and German Wehrmacht soldiers stood shoulder to shoulder, firing from the medieval walls of an Austrian castle against a common enemy, the fanatical Waffen-SS. Their mission was not to capture a strategic point, but to protect a group of high-value French prisoners, former prime ministers and generals, marked for execution. This is the story of the Battle of Castle Itter, a story so improbable it seems ripped from a wartime fable, yet it stands as a documented singular moment of Allied humanity at the very edge of the abyss. It remains, without contest, the strangest battle of the Second World War. Background: the twilight of the Reich. To understand how such an event could transpire, one must first comprehend the unique and lawless environment of early May 1945. Nazi Germany had functionally ceased to exist. Adolf Hitler was dead by suicide in his Berlin bunker. The Soviet Red Army was brutally consolidating its control of the capital. In the West, Allied forces advanced virtually unopposed through Germany and Austria, accepting the surrenders of entire German divisions who sought to avoid falling into Soviet hands. The formal end of the war was mere days away. Yet, within this vacuum of authority, pockets of lethal danger remained. The most significant threat came from disparate units of the Waffen-SS. These were the ideological true believers, the men most deeply committed to the Nazi cause. For them, the collapse of the state did not mean the end of the fight. In many cases, it meant a final, vengeful rampage, a bloody settling of scores, and a fanatical determination to carry out Hitler's Nero decree, an order to destroy anything that might be of value to the enemy, including human lives. It was within this shadowland, where the war was over but the killing was not, that Castle Itter found itself. The castle itself was a picturesque 13th century fortress overlooking the small Tyrolean village of Itter. In 1943, the SS had transformed it into a Sonderlager, a special prison. Its remote location and formidable structure made it an ideal clandestine jail for the regime's most prestigious French captives, individuals considered far too valuable to be held in a standard camp. The prisoners, a government in exile behind walls. The inmates of Castle Itter were not soldiers. They were symbols. They represented the fallen French Third Republic, held as trophies and potential bargaining chips by Hitler. Their captivity was a quiet, gilded humiliation. The roster read like a who's who of pre-war France. Édouard Daladier, the prime minister who had declared war on Germany in September 1939. Paul Reynaud, Daladier's successor, who was prime minister during the catastrophic German invasion of 1940. General Maurice Gamelin, the commander-in-chief of the French army at the war's outbreak. General Maxime Weygand, the officer who succeeded Gamelin and was forced to sign the armistice with Germany. Michel Clemenceau, son of Georges Clemenceau, the iconic French premier of World War I. Marie-Ange de Gaulle, the beloved elder sister of General Charles de Gaulle, leader of the Free French. They were joined by trade union leaders, resistance figures, and even a famous Russian athlete. These men and women lived in relative comfort but under constant psychological strain, knowing their fates were entirely subject to Hitler's whim. That whim turned deadly in the first days of May. With the Frere dead, their value as hostages evaporated, and their status as inconvenient witnesses to SS crimes made them targets. When their SS guards abruptly deserted their posts, the prisoners were left in a terrifying limbo, technically free, but trapped in an isolated castle with vengeful SS forces known to be operating in the surrounding forests. They knew a death squad was likely being organized, an improbable alliance forged in desperation. Facing extermination, the prisoners took decisive action. They dispatched 2 messengers into the surrounding countryside. This desperate outreach led to the formation of one of history's most unlikely military units. One messenger found Major Josef Gangl, a decorated Wehrmacht officer. Gangl, an Austrian, had long since turned against the Nazi regime. He was already using his small band of remaining loyal soldiers not to fight the Allies, but to protect the citizens of Urgel from SS terror raids. He saw the defense of the French prisoners as a final, righteous act in a dishonorable war. The other messenger reached forward elements of the U.S. 12th Armored Division. The plea for help landed on the desk of Captain John C. Jack Lee Jr., a confident and capable tank commander. Confronted with this extraordinary situation, Lee did not refer the matter up a slow chain of command. He acted. Assembling a tiny relief force, just 14 American soldiers, a single M4 Sherman tank nicknamed Basot and Jenny, and a few jeeps, he raced toward the castle, linking up with Major Gangl and his handful of German soldiers along the way. The alliance was pragmatic and immediate, forged from a shared recognition of a moral imperative that transcended former enmity. The battle, a siege from another age. On the morning of May 5, 1945, this patchwork force took up defensive positions within the castle walls. Their peace was short-lived. By mid-morning, they were surrounded and attacked by an estimated 150 soldiers of the 17th SS Panzergrenadier Division. What ensued was a surreal and brutal fight that mixed modern weapons with medieval architecture. The American Sherman tank, positioned at the main gate, was a key asset until it was disabled by precise SS anti-tank fire. With their armor gone, the defenders were pushed back. The SS stormed the outer courtyard, and the battle descended into desperate close-quarters combat. The French prisoners, including the elderly statesmen, actively supported the defenders, ferrying ammunition and, in some cases, taking up rifles themselves. Leadership shone through the chaos. Captain Lee, realizing a defensive position was collapsing, sprinted across an open courtyard swept by enemy fire to direct his men, an act of supreme courage for which he would later receive the Distinguished Service Cross. The battle's most poignant moment came with the death of Major Josef Gangl. He was struck and killed by an SS sniper's bullet. Austrian accounts hold that he was shot while moving to pull former Prime Minister Paul Reynaud to safety. He died as a traitor to the dead Nazi cause and would be posthumously honored as a national hero in Austria. Relief and legacy. By late afternoon, the defenders were running critically low on ammunition and facing overwhelming force. The castle was on the verge of falling. Salvation arrived at the last possible moment. A reconnaissance patrol had broken out earlier and reached the advancing U.S. 142nd Infantry Regiment. A relief column, alerted to the unprecedented situation, arrived in strength. Seeing fresh American troops and tanks, the SS attackers broke off their assault and fled into the Tyrolean woods. The Battle of Castle Itter was over. Every prisoner was saved. In the grand chronology of World War II, it was a minor skirmish, overshadowed just 3 days later by the official surrender of Germany. But its historical significance is profound. It stands as the only known instance in the war where Americans and Germans fought as formal allies against other Germans to protect enemy prisoners. Its legacy is one of human complexity amid the binary morality of total war. Major Gangl is memorialized in Austria as a resistor. Captain Lee returned to a quiet life in America. The French prisoners returned to a liberated homeland, their extraordinary rescue a peculiar footnote in their distinguished lives. Castle Itter itself still stands, its stone walls a silent testament to a day when the lines between enemy and ally blurred, not for strategy, but for a shared fundamental humanity. It is a story that proves that even in history's darkest chapters, moments of profound and unexpected decency can flicker, however briefly, into existence.